Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be doing some seashell facts and tapping. So first off, let's start by finding a comfy place, either sitting or lying down. And we'll take some deep breaths in. And a slow exhale out. We'll do two more. In. And out. And already we're beginning to relax a little bit. And one more. And out. And hopefully during the course of this video we can relax our muscles and our minds. So, for my first shell that I'm going to show you today, it is a carapace of a rock crab. So, the rock crab, also known as the Atlantic crab or the peaky toe crab, not to be confused with the peaky blinders, is a species of crab found along the Atlantic coast of North America all the way from Labrador to Georgia. The size of it is about usually up to 10 centimeters. I'd say this is getting pretty close to the upper end of it, and they have dark reddish spots. I'm not sure if you can see that. Or a greenish brown coloration, and with a distinctive, I guess you'd call it a mottled pattern. For their habitat, rock crabs are typically found in like the intertidal zone, so if you've got like tidal pools and all that, I used to love going to those as a kid. Still do as an adult, if I'm an adult. And they are well adapted to the waves of the intertidal zone which they inhabit. For their diet, rock crabs are opportunistic omnivores, feeding on really whatever they can find, including small fish, clams, mussels, snails, and other crustaceans. They are also known to scavenge for food and are also capable of capturing live prey. Rock crabs are generally solitary creatures, although they may congregate in large numbers in certain areas. They are primarily nocturnal, being more active at night and then hiding in their crevices and burrows during the day. Here I have a metal, I guess you'd call it a pick, and we're gonna see how the rock crab carapace sounds. So that's the rock crab. Next up we have the sea scallop. known for its distinctive fan shape, shells, which usually reach 15 to 20 centimeters in diameter. The upper shell, or the valve, is usually convex and has a reddish-brown or yellowish-brown colour with prominent ridges, and the lower valve is usually flat and whitish. So this is one of the upper valves, and you can see how it's kind of convex there, and the texture. They are typically found in sandy and gravelly seabeds, ranging from shallow coastal waters to depths of up to several hundred meters. They're often found in large aggregations and are known to form dense beds on the ocean floor. Sea scallops are filter feeders, using their numerous small leaf-like gills to extract microscopic particles such as plankton found in the water. And they have a well-developed ring of tentacles called a mantle that surrounds their mouth and helps to direct the flow of water for feeding. So, scallops are actually capable of limited mobility through a series of rapid clapping motions with their shells, and by clapping the valve together they can expel water and propel themselves forward and actually swim through the water. They can do this for a short distance in order to avoid potential predators or find more suitable habitats. Sea scallops have a lot of important commercial value as a species. They are harvested for their powerful abductor muscle, which is what you really the only part of a scallop that you eat. It's the abductor muscle. And they are typically harvested by dredging or trawling. And there is also sustainable harvesting practice using aquaculture. Scallops actually live quite a long life. They can have up to 20-year lifespans, and they have like a slow growth rate and reproductive rate. And so, I'm going to see what it sounds like on the microphone. I really like the ridging on this one. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but there's a difference in the density of the nacre from where the abductor muscle was connected. Has a softer sound to it than the ridge. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. So next in my collection of shells we have the American oyster, also known as Crassoptera virginica. It's a species of bivalve mollusk found along the eastern coast of North America from the Gulf of St. Lawrence in Canada all the way to the Gulf of Mexico in the United States. For size and coloration, the American oysters have irregular rough shells that are usually like greyish brown to tan colour and they grow 3 to 5 inches in length and are typically like an oblong, asymmetrical oval shape. Their habitat, they're typically found in estuaries and shallow coastal waters where they have attached themselves to hard surfaces such as rocks, piers and other oyster shells. They can actually form large colonies called oyster reefs or oyster beds, which provide important habitat for other marine species. Like the scallop, oysters are also filter feeders, using their little gills to extract plankton, microalgae, and they can actually filter several of gallons of water per hour, which helps improve water quality and promote a healthy marine ecosystem. So I know that in New York City, in the Hudson River, they had a project called the Billion Oyster Project, where they were seeding the river with 1 billion oysters to filter the water and clean it. In aquaculture, because they're filter feeders and because they absorb calcium and carbon, and they're carbon negative to grow, they're actually good for the environment to grow as a food species. Fun fact if you care about aquaculture. For reproduction, the oysters are interesting in that they are hermaphroditic, meaning that you can have both male and female reproductive organs. So I think now we'll get to tapping. This one has quite a hard shell. And the harder the shell is, the better chance you have of fending off predators. Next up, we have a favourite from my collection, which is the sea urchin. There are over 950 species of sea urchin found in oceans all around the world. For particular characteristics, sea urchins are small, spiny marine animals that are typically, spherical or globular in shape, although some species are elongated or flattened. Sea urchins are found in various marine habitats, including rocky reefs, coral reefs, sea grass beds, and sandy or muddy bottoms. They can be found in shallow, intertidal depths or into deep sea habitats. And sea urchins are primarily herbivores, although some species may also be omnivores or even carnivores. And they have specialized mouth parts called Aristotle's lantern that scrape together algae or organic material from rocks or other substrate. Here is where the mouth would have been, but since fallen out or been eaten, potentially. Not by me. Sea urchins play an important role in marine ecosystems. As herbivores, they can have significant impacts on the structure and composition of benthic communities by consuming macroalgae and controlling their abundance. In some cases, overgrazing by sea urchins can lead to a place called urchin barrens, where other species are excluded from the ecosystem, and it is all fundamentally altered. So, sea urchins are best known for their defense mechanisms, which are their hundreds of spines that act as a physical deterrent to potential predators, and some species have venomous spines that can deliver a painful sting. So try not to step on them. And they have remarkable regenerative abilities. They can regenerate lost spines, repair damaged test plates, and even regrow lost body parts, including their entire body in some cases. Now that's an impressive skill to have. So for human use, sea urchins have a cultural and culinary significance in some regions. In Japan, for example, sea urchin roe is known as uni, U-N-I, and is considered a delicacy and is used in sushi and other dishes. Sea urchins are also used for scientific research as model organisms for studying various biological processes, including development, regeneration, and evolution. There are so many bumps. What will I show you next? So for our next shell, we have the bay scallop. And this is found across the Atlantic coast of North America, from Canada to Mexico. Physical characteristics: bay scallops have two convex, fan-shaped shells that are usually about 1 to 2 inches in diameter, or they can grow up to about 3 inches in some cases. The shells are typically ribbed and have a variety of colours ranging from white, yellow, orange, pink to brown, and the inside of the shells are smooth and shiny with like a pearly white or pinkish colour. This one's like white or a cream colour. So bay scallops are found in shallow coastal waters such as estuaries, bays, seabed, eelgrass beds, and they prefer sandy, muddy substrate, and they're often found buried in the sediment with only part of their shells visible. Bay scallops are filter feeders, and they have actually numerous small eyes to detect plankton in the water column. They draw in water and extract the small particles using their specialized gills, and the filtered water is expelled back out. Bay scallops actually exhibit seasonal behavior, with their populations undergoing reproductive and growth cycles. In the warmer months, they are typically more active and can be found swimming or crawling on the seafloor, while in the colder months they may bury themselves in the sediment to conserve energy and avoid the harsh environmental conditions. I would just like to take a moment and remind everyone just to take a deep belly breath, inhale, and out. With relaxing, it is so important to make sure that we have belly breathing and not breathing with our chest. Now this one is a lot smoother than the sea scallop that I showed you before. So, for our next one, you'll probably recognize this one. It is a sand dollar. I actually got this one in Mexico when I was on vacation, and you can hear when you shake it, some of the sand still in it. So, sand dollars are flat and have a disc-shaped body in a hard, round skeleton called a test. The test is usually covered with fine, hair-like spines, and colour of the test can vary from like a pale grey to green, brown to purple. The living sand dollars I saw when I found this one were purple. And they have a distinct 5-point pattern. You can see they have 5 points that radiate from the center. And sand dollars are particularly detrivores, primarily feeding on the small particles of organic matter and microscopic algae that they scrape off the surface of the sediment with their spines. And they use specialized tube feet and cilia to move toward the food and get their mouth, which is located on the underside. That little hole right there over the food. Sand dollars have the ability to regenerate lost and damaged body parts, including their spines, and repair their test, and allow them to regenerate their skeleton, which is an important adaptation for their survival in their sandy habitat, where they may encounter abrasion and predation. They have various predators, including sea stars, crabs, fish, birds, but they have a good ability to bury themselves in the sand and use their spines for protection. Sand dollars are often associated with symbolism, and their unique flower pattern has been interpreted as a symbol of peace and prosperity and the story of the birth of life. And they're very popular in beach combing. Sand dollars are commonly washed up on beaches, particularly in areas with sandy or muddy substrate. And beachcombers will often collect sand dollars as souvenirs or for crafts. But it's important to note that collecting live sand dollars from the wild should not be done. For our next shell, we have clam. Clams belong to a class of bivalvia, which include various species of mollusks. Some common species of clams include Mercenaria, known as the hard clam, the soft-shell clam, the Japanese little-neck clam, among others. They have two parts to their shell, also known as a valve. They get their name by valve, which is typically made of calcium carbonate. And they come in all shapes and sizes. Clams have a muscular foot that they use for burying into the sediment, and they often have siphons or tubes that are used for feeding and respiration. Clams can be found in various aquatic environments, including marine freshwater, brackish water habitats. They are often found buried in sediment, such as sand or mud, and can be found in intertidal zones, subtidal zones, and deeper offshore water. Clams are filter feeders, and they have a specialized structure and gills to filter the tiny particles and a siphon, which are used to bring in the water and the food. Clams are commercially harvested for human consumption in many parts of the world and are a popular seafood ingredient in many cuisines and are used in various dishes such as clam chowder, pasta, and clam fritters. Clam farming is a sector of aquaculture. It is important to the industry. It involves the sustainable cultivation and harvesting of clams. So, clams are well known for their burrowing behavior. They bury themselves in the sediment for protection and to obtain food. Clams play an important ecological role in the marine and freshwater ecosystems. As they filter water, they can help improve the water quality. They provide habitat and food for other microorganisms. Clams are an important food source for many marine freshwater animals, such as fish, birds, and mammals. I particularly like this clam shell for its deep ridging that runs from the lip to the umbo. I found it when I was on a scuba dive when I was visiting Vancouver. So this one is known as a terebra, which is a type of gastropod, which is more commonly known as an auger snail. There are over 250 species recognized worldwide, and these snails are typically found in tropical and subtropical waters, including the Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, and the Caribbean Sea. The shell characteristics of these snails are they're known for their distinctive shells that are generally long and slender, representing kind of like an auger or a drill bit. The shells are typically smooth and glassy and cylindrical, with a pointed apex and a narrow, elongated aperture. As you can see how it starts off small and gets wider. And the shells can have a myriad of colours, ranging from shades of brown, yellow to white, with often intricate patterns and markings. This one's like I'd call it a happy beige. Not like a sad beige, it's a happy beige. So these snails have specialised anatomical adaptations for a predatory lifestyle. They possess a long proboscis that can be extended from their shell, allowing them to probe and find their prey. And they also have sharp, tooth-like radule, which are specialised in feeding structures, used to drill into the shells of their prey. And what's interesting about this shell in particular is that there is a drill hole right there. So when the hunter becomes the hunted, exciting. Well, that's all the shells I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and also leave a comment. Let me know how you felt about this video, about the facts, about the tapping and the scraping, and also if you had a favourite shell. Alright, have a lovely day.